How are innovations in storage technologies accelerating digital transformation for Indian enterprise?
Key aspects around digital transformation, which we'll all be aware of. We've got to store data, we've got to move data, we've got to manage data, we've got to protect it. And I think that there's a couple of things that are really important about that. And this is where Pure Storage is really focusing its energy. And one is the data is often the most valuable resource in any company. And so we acknowledge that. And two, that data is growing. And regardless of what we wish may be the case to be, data is growing. And so storage technologies are playing a more strategic role in organizations than we previously would have thought in the role of digital transformation.
What are some of the current trends in storage technologies?
Probably three big trends that Pure is seeing, and we think this will continue for the coming years. Number one, anything, anywhere as a service. That's generic across all of our industry segments. Infrastructure as a code.
Right.
And I don't just mean cloud. I mean infrastructure as a code, and sustainability. So the challenge of succumbing to highly complex environments, where there's lots of manual interventions, time consuming, that nature of IT, we've got to get away from that as soon as possible. So we want to move toward, new solutions, new frameworks that'll create simplicity, flexibility, agility. Use that word a lot, but it's important. And most importantly, speed. The speed of the enterprise is growing exponentially, and we've got to be able to keep up with that. So, what began as a infrastructure as a service world, let's move from on-prem to off-prem, I think has paved the way for infrastructure as a code. So I think that's the big next shift for us. Infrastructure as a code integrates self-service IT, scale out, on-demand solutions, and that rise above the physical infrastructure. And I think we're seeing that enable organizations to adopt a cloud operating model without the handcuffs of it being purely an infrastructure as a service strategy. So we want to give our customers that cloud-like experience using code as the enabler. And then, lastly, I touched on, ESG. ESG is massive. Climate change is on the global agenda. And, I think Pure many years ago recognized and acknowledged the importance of, the benefit that a flash-based solution can bring to an ESG or an environmental agenda. So, those are the three things I think we're seeing and we'll continue to see for a while yet.
How can storage tech be made efficient to help enterprise in their ESG goals?
Thank you. It's a really important question. It's fascinating because, and I'll answer your question, but just to give you an idea of how important this is, like a bit of an image for you. Last month, I post a ESG report on my LinkedIn profile. I have about 30,000 followers on my LinkedIn, so it's reasonably large. I post an ESG report, and it's really important and it's great. And you get, I got about 1,000 people say, it's sort of great. I post a photo of some legacy infrastructure showing 2 full racks of, what would be, considered magnetic disk legacy storage. And just showing, the benefit of it coming into I'm going to make up a number here, I'm going to get in trouble. I think it's 5 or 6 RU, right? Showing this massive real estate into this small, 47,000 views of that one picture. And it didn't say anything about it. It didn't have to, but you just think about the benefits of a flash-based solution, and how you can transform that physical footprint of these 2 large racks into this space. Now, there's, of course, more than ever now, cost benefits associated with that, with power and cooling and physical space. But just the interest that has grown over the last couple of years around environmental benefits of, an all flash-based solution is far outweighing people's original belief that, hey, you know, this is just faster, better, right? So faster, better, yes, it is. But now environmental considerations have become, you know, really key. So, you know, Pure's solid state technology has been competing with mechanical disc for a long time, but now that it is creating such benefits in an ESG space around reduction of e-waste, dramatically lowering energy consumption, and, you know, just showing that you can really expand out using a flash-based solution, I think is key. You know, it's one of our primary industry focuses, right? Pure is committed to reducing waste across the board. I mean, we published a 90%. Our forecast is that by using a pure flash-based solution, you can reduce energy consumption of compared to a hard disk-based solution by 90%, 90. You know, these are material contributions to your ROI. There's about an 80% reduction in energy usage compared to a mechanical-based solution. And then, of course, you know, using Pure's evergreen technology, where we provide a, you know, really a 10-year life cycle where we can reduce renewal and refresh and e-waste. I think, you know, I think Pure's ESG story is phenomenal. So, you know, if you're interested in it, I'd encourage you to go and find Pure's ESG report.
How Pure is making significant advances in storage tech innovations.
It's funny, Pure is now 13 years old this year, and we released our first product into the market 12 years ago. So we still, you know, relative to our competition, we're the modern data business. Okay, we're the modern storage developer. We were built in the cloud world, and, you know, I think there's a extraordinary innovative culture in Pure, and it's really exciting to be part of. So, you know, when we first created this idea that you could run Flash as a commercial storage solution, you know, the industry, of course, if you look back, sort of thought, you know, that'll be too expensive, it'll fizzle out, it may not work, right? Well, we've certainly proved that wrong. You know, I think at that point in time, the storage industry was certainly lagging behind computing and networking, which had already adopted more modern based technologies. So, you know, Pure was the original disruptor in what was probably a pretty stagnant industry. We're still continuing that. Our primary thread of innovation is our evergreen portfolio. So the product and services that we offer are sustainable for long periods of time. You know, there's a great stat that over 90% of all flash arrays that Pure has ever sold in the history of our business, over 90, are still in production. You know, so we've been selling these for 12 years now. You know, my history working in systems integration, I don't remember, you know, I recall the great refresh. You know, every 3 to 5 years, you would go back to your client and you would say, hey, you know, your storage environment is, you know, it's sort of old now, and let's chuck it out. And by the way, if you want to keep it, that's fine, but we're going to charge you exorbitant maintenance fees. The question you asked is, how are we innovating? We've been innovating from day zero. And by having this evergreen technology where we don't charge these exorbitant refresh fees, where we're constantly upgrading and updating the client's environments, even with new technologies, and it's all done via the cloud, I think that's an incredible and continuous innovation from Pure. But, you know, we've got to keep going, right? So the evergreen program's great. We want non-disruptive upgrades for life. We want the software to be constantly updated and refreshed with new technologies. And so as Pure innovates, our customers receive all of that benefit.
How do you perceive the future of storage tech in India, and how is Pure equipped to cater to the dynamic demands of businesses?
I'll share my view. And, you know, I've just had the most wonderful week here in India with some incredible partners, and I just want to acknowledge this incredible country of yours and the beautiful people and the hospitality. And I know that wasn't the question, but I had to make sure I got that in. So, you know, thank you. I've visited, I've been, you know, left and right, east and west, north and south of your beautiful country this week. we think the future is very bright for Pure, and we certainly, I've left this week. I'm leaving India tomorrow. I'm leaving this week just absolutely ecstatic about the potential here for Pure, also for our partners and for the market. India is no different to anywhere else in the world. There's incredible environmental challenge. You're moving at a speed that we haven't seen before, and you're an incredibly innovative and entrepreneurial and smart country. So there's a demand for the types of technologies and services that Pure operate in. But to answer your question, very, very bright. We've placed incredible investments here in India. One of our most important pieces of global infrastructure is based here in India. We've implemented a global R&D center, invested substantial sums, and we have a substantial number of people here in India. So look, we're a 13-year-old business now, where our goal is to always sustain that startup culture. We want every Pure employee and every Pure partner to believe in that strategy and that mission. And but I think the talent in this country, in India today, to execute on a future of environmentally sustainable, constantly refreshing, hands-off, easy to manage storage, or easy to manage, IT services stack, I think is incredibly strong here. I think that potential is incredibly strong. And, Pure is very well placed to take that challenge to this market. And I think our competition should be worried about Pure in India. Our growth has been exponential. It's one of the fastest growing regions in the world for Pure as a percentage. And, we're here, and our partners are very excited about having a disruptive and environmentally sound solution for their portfolios. So, bring it on.